Welcome back, guys. Today I'm at home and I'm getting ready for my big camping trip coming up. What am I bringing? Stay tuned. Well, it's a beautiful time of year. It's the end of October. I'm getting ready to head out on a wilderness backcountry trip, just my friend and I. And I'm getting pretty excited. I've got everything packed and ready to go. I'll be leaving in a few days, and I want to just let you know what I'm bringing. Camping this time of year can be a little bit tricky. You know, it's sort of like the flank season. You don't know what kind of weather you're going to get. You could have a nice, beautiful day like today with the sunshine and whatnot, or you could end up with clouds, wind, rain, hail, freezing rain, or snow. You know, it can be quite a mixed bag this time of year around here. So it looks like for this coming trip, we have a mix of everything. Probably be a little bit of sun, but mostly cloudy. And we're anticipating a bit of weather coming in, especially the last 2 days of the trip. So I want to be prepared. The weather I'm talking about is rain, possibly freezing rain, and some snow. I think they're not really sure what it's going to turn into. It's going to be based on what the temperature is when the precipitation comes down. So I want to be prepared for my worst case scenario, like freezing rain or snow. So let's go take a look at my gear. I've got some stuff sort of spread out on the back deck here so I can take some inventory before I fully pack up the car. So let's head on over and we'll see what I have. So it is a canoe camping trip. So I've got my WildYam canoe that I restored a few years ago. I don't know if you guys remember that video. And I've got all my gear sort of laid out right here. So let's take a closer look. So right off the bat at the front here, you can see, you know, I've got my life jacket. And in my life jacket pocket, I've got a whistle, you know, especially for boating, really important. And put my shoes over there for a second. I've got a dry bag here with sort of miscellaneous gear. I love this dry bag. It's nice and clear so I can see what's going on inside. So this has a lot of my my safety equipment in it, you know, just like little bits and bobs of things that, you know, I don't want to just have strewn about the canoe. So I've got my boating safety kit in here, which is a bailing bucket, some throw rope, a whistle, and a flashlight. Here I've got more throw rope. You never have enough rope, right? Right here you can see the blue thing right here. That's my my medical kit. So it's one for backcountry. I think it's good for up to 21 days. I got it at the Mountain Equipment Co-op. So it's a really solid kit. I went through it a couple weeks ago just to be sure that I have everything in it that I need. You would hate to have something expired in there or something missing when you need it the most. So I went through that. Right over here, you can see I've got like a little thermometer. I have my CPR mask. It's a little tiny ball and it inflates to a CPR mask. A tick key. Of course, this time of year we have a lot of ticks, so really important to have a way to remove them. Here, I'm probably gonna put this on my belt when I'm hiking around. That's gonna be my ferro rod, obviously, from Stalker Steve. Thank you, Steve. And I've also got my knife in here that's gonna go on my belt as well. An extra hat up here. I have a little bit of extra birch bark on hand, just in case I need something and I don't want to go wandering around to find birch bark. A little extra tinder, never hurt anyone. And oh yeah, I've got a pocket knife sitting at the bottom here. So again, really advantageous to have a clear dry bag for your miscellaneous items so you can quickly look around and see what you're looking for. All right, so that's the dry bag. Over here you can see I'll be doing a bit of fishing. I'm hoping to get some nice fresh caught meals. So I brought my fishing rod and I put a little bit of fishing gear in here as well. I've got like a small fishing kit. I only need a few items for that. So that'll go in here. This is my fishing rod. I didn't want to bring my collapsible one. It's not very good. You know, the one that you'd see me use in New Brunswick. I really didn't like that one. So I'm just going to bring my good trusty old fishing rod. I've heard there's bass in the lake that we're going into that are upwards of 5 pounds. So 4 pounds, maybe 5 pounds. Anyways, I'm going to see how that goes. I'm hoping to get a nice supper, like I said. So I'm going to bring the good gear. I don't want to be sad, my rod to snap on a giant fish. So we'll see. Of course, really important in the backcountry to have an axe. So this is a Swedish felling axe for getting, you know, some limbs and stuff like that. It's probably one of the safer axes to be using in the bush because it kind of, you know, if you're going on a log or a limb, it will catch on this. It'll catch on this part of the axe, so it doesn't kind of swing down and hit you if you kind of miss somewhat. Anyway, I like this axe. It's really awesome. I've had it for some time, and I think I got it at Lee Valley Tools or something like that. But you can get anywhere online, basically. So Swedish felling axe for some of the lighter work. I also have my Fisker's felling axe as well. This is a really nice axe. I really love it. I love the Fisker's brand, honestly. It does a good job and they're a high quality item. So I've sharpened all my axes about a month ago at the cabin, so they're ready to roll for the trip. So as you can see beside my dry bag here, I have a barrel, and Right now this barrel is holding a lot of my my tenting gear and stuff like that. So let's take a look inside here. Once my gear is out of here and set up, this will serve as our food barrel. There are bears in the area still. They're not in hibernation, so really important to make sure your food is safe and tucked away so they don't get into your gear. Now, don't be fooled, bears can get into things like this, but it does slow them down. So you still be smart about it, obviously. Don't put it right beside your tent. And they have been known to break into things like coolers and barrels like this, so you know, it just gives them a little bit of extra work to get at our stuff before we can scare them away. So let's take a look inside. All right. So this barrel, I also have some other gear as well that I've crammed in with my tent and things like that. One of them being this little mini stove here. It's really good. It's lightweight aluminum. You unfold it, you put a bit of tinder in there, and you can start a fire and balance a pot on top. So if you want to boil some water, that's fine, or you know, cook a light meal, so you don't have to start a big fire. Also, of course, I brought a saw with me. You gotta be really careful with these saws in the backcountry. They are really sharp. I've got my finger with one of these. I think in one of my winter camping trips, you saw me wearing a Band-Aid, and that was actually from this saw. I know 13 Prevail had a big saw, somewhat like this, bit bigger, and cut himself in his leg pretty good. So really be careful with these off-grid. You can injure yourself. I've got some kitchen supplies in here, you know, some soap, dish rag, you know, utensils, whatnot. Oven mitt. You know, I've burnt myself a few times by a fire, so just having this to kind of grab a hot pot or something like that's handy. Flashlight for around camp. It's a good idea. And because I'm going to be catching a big fish, I brought one of my nicest fillet knives there. So I got this up in North Bay, Post Knives. Very nice. A few garbage bags, you know, lots of different uses for that. Thought it'd be a good idea to bring some. Here is my Caden Hiker Pro water purification unit. So I had to get new tubing for it. My other tubing was quite old, so I replaced that and it's good to go because we'll be drinking out of the lake, and the lake water here is you know, polluted, has giardia, things like that, so you don't want to drink it straight. Also, this paracord, you can never have enough of it. This has a bit of a reflective thread throughout it, so you can see it when you shine a flashlight on it. And this is Zing It. It's a recommendation from Pine Martin. It is a type of rope that has very low friction, so you can throw it over a tree branch, you know, haul your gear up. It's pretty strong stuff, but very little friction to it, so it's very easy to haul things up using this. So again, you never have enough of that. Another thing I have is one of these security blankets. So it's those metallic blankets that reflect heat and keep you warm. Always good to have this as an emergency blanket. And looking further down into the barrel, I'm not going to haul it all out, but I've got my Wild Venture tarp, sleeping bag, liner. The tent is right there. I've got a couple other things in there, including a small sleeping bag that I got that I'll show you guys all about that one. So yeah, a lot of the gear goes in there, but again, once this gets set up, a lot of it will, it'll be basically empty in there, and we'll be able to put our food in there. Oh, you're also probably wondering, I also have tongs in there too, so that's another good thing to grab things off the fire with. And some other stuff over here that I'll show you. These are my heated seats. I love them. They're perfect this time of year for sitting on cold ground. They're just about a ½ inch of foam, but they really warm up nicely, and they're very light to pack. So I'll be having these in the canoe when I sit down, and one pad for my knees, but then we'll be able to use them around the campfire and the campsite. Of course, right here I've got my thermos, so I'll be filling that with a bit of hot water, and we'll have that around the campsite to store our warm water. Here's just something that I'll be wearing around my my waist here. It's, you know, my foraging pack, but you know, I've got a lot of other little goodies in here as well. There's my personal location beacon, so if we end up in a situation that's life-threatening and we can't evacuate ourselves, I'll have that. Small first aid kit, some tissue, a foraging knife, of course. Why would I leave home without it? Batteries, yeah, because I do have my GPS down there, so I've got about 8 batteries, lithiums, because it'll be cold and lithium perform better in cold weather. So I've got those. I'll also have maps, and I have a compass as well in my bag. So yeah, I've got an empty pocket up here, so I could probably stuff my pocket knife in there, I'm thinking. Anyway, so that's that. Of course, another tarp. This one I'll probably use under the tent as a ground sheet. It's always good to have extra tarps. For sleeping, yes, I'm gonna have my Teton -30 sleeping bag. Not because it's going to go to -30, but I want to be snug as a bug in a rug. I'm also trying out another sleeping bag that is lined with goose down. So I'll show you that a little bit later when I'm at the campsite. But I've also brought my Teton because it's supposed to go down to potentially -5-ish. So this will be really comfy for that. So I don't want to be feeling too cold on my trip. In terms of clothing items, definitely it's hunting season, so I'm going to be wearing my orange so people see me. I've got a heavy-duty PVC raincoat. It's by Dakota. It's really thick. It's not the kind that is going to rip on you. Quite thick. I mean, the breathability is probably not great, although there is a ventilation flap back there. If we're into freezing rain, heavy rain, I'm going to be wearing this when we're paddling or when we're hiking. Underneath all my orange gear is my red jacket. It's sort of my winter jacket. I'm going to bring it. It's not that thick, honestly. It's fairly thin. It's not bulky. Got lots of pockets, but it's really good. If the wind comes up or we're cold, I don't want to be wishing I have this. I don't want it to be sitting in my cupboard at home and I'm just regretting not bringing it. So I'm going to bring that. I may not wear it the whole time, but I want to have something warm if we end up in a situation where the weather turns bad. In terms of footwear, as you can see on the left are my hikers. I'll probably be wearing those most of the time. Now, probably around camp and when it gets chilly at night and, if it snows, I have my muckluck. I handmade these, I don't know, it was about a year ago now. I love them. So I've waterproofed them, conditioned the leather again. They're ready to go for this season. And you know what? These are the warmest things I have. I can wear these in -30 and I feel amazing. The tread, I'll show you guys. The tread has held up pretty well over last year. Only a little bit at the front here is peeled up, and I fixed that again with a bit more shoe goo. I think another time, and I still might repair these to do this, is to extend. This is tire rubber. I don't know if you guys remember. I did basically hit a tire with an angle grinder, got rubber dust and mixed it with shoe goo and smeared it all over the bottoms of these mucklucks, and it works really well. But another time, because I do, obviously when I walk and I rock forward on this toe, and this is where you'll see a lot of the abrasion on the hide there, on the elk. So what I want to do, and I'll probably do this a little bit later before the really big snow comes, is put some more of that and put it up here. And I'm going to, apparently I walk a little bit farther on my side than I thought of my foot, so I'm going to extend it out here as well. So they work really well, but I'm going to bring them with me, to keep comfy around camp. If the snow comes, I'll be prepared. In my backpack here, this houses all my clothing, my clothing and also the food as well. I'll talk about food in a second, but yeah, it's gonna be all my clothing. I've got everything to dress in layers, t-shirts, I've got thermal underwear, thermal shirt, like a fleece kind of shirt as well. I have my fall raven pants, which I need to do some fresh beeswax coating on them, some Greenland wax, I need to do that. And I've got insulated pants from Mark's Work Warehouse as well in that backpack. So I've got lots of stuff, my toiletries, toilet paper. Like I said, the food is actually gonna sit, there's quite a bit of space right up here in the top of the pack for my food. And there's also my kitchen gear in there. Let's take a look. So this is a Hydro Pack 75 liter. I love it. I've had this for like 10 years. It's not showing any signs of wear and we use it all the time. I'm gonna haul all this stuff out, but basically I've got pots and pans. I have a water container here, so I'm gonna pump a bunch of water. So we have about 15 liters available at all time at camp for drinking, hand washing, dishwashing, that kind of thing. And I've got, oh yeah, really important. Let's look down in here. Really important is my bear spray. I've got that in there too. Of course, that'll come out. I'm just sort of putting it in there for now. But I've got lots of goodies in there. I've got, some plates, bowls, and then my clothing really is a small part of it. It's at the bottom. So, and I've got lots of space, like I said, for my food. So for food, what am I gonna do? Well, interesting question. I had a plan to do my MRE Star meals. I placed an order and they're supposed to come in today, a few days before my trip. However, we are in the middle of a Canada Post strike, so it's debatable whether those will arrive or not. So no big deal, I'm not panicking. I have a backup plan for my meals and I may end up, executing my backup plan. Got lots of things, for oatmeal for breakfast. I've got some dried fruit to add for my breakfast, granola bars. I have honey mixed with peanut butter, which is a favorite for me on the trail. A bannock mix. I have tunas sort of in like an envelope, kind of like cat food basically. We aren't allowed to bring tins into this backcountry site, which I understand. So everything has to be burned. So basically, yeah, a little pouch of little chickadees telling me I need to fill the feeder apparently. Yes, I will get to it. Anyway, he's so mad. Anyway, so tuna, I basically have ramen noodles that you can just, rehydrate, heat like 3 minutes, it's all done. And I brought bacon. I'm bringing pre-meal bacon. I don't want the really greasy stuff. My friend might be bringing, she might pre-bake some bacon and we just kind of reheat it. I just don't want a lot of grease attracting in the bears and stuff like that. So I brought pre-meal bacon. I've got a few eggs to make. I have miso soup mix, which is just like in a little container. It's just like a bit of a paste you mix so you can make a good soup. Again, I'm hoping to catch some fish for supper, so we'll see if that happens. And I brought oil, tin foil, things like that, drink mix. I don't know if I mentioned that before. Granola, lots of different things. So we're not going to go hungry. There'll be lots of good stuff. And a lot of it's very easily packed in what's remaining in my backpack. So if the MRE stars arrive, I might just tuck an extra one in there. And of course, being a fisher and a forager, I'm sure I can come up with something if I'm in a bind. Other things that aren't visible here that I'm packing with me are a small shovel. I'm trying to think of other things I don't have here, but I'm sure I'll figure it out soon. I'm putting this together right now for our trip. So if you think of something I'm missing, put it down below in the comments. I probably won't see the comments before I head out on the trip, but for another trip, let me know what I should bring. So, and I'll give you a little follow-up, post-trip if there's something else I should have brought with me. Oh yeah, you also didn't get to see, I have my my sleeping mat. I bought the Thermos sleeping mat because I didn't really like the one that I had in New Brunswick that I had the last time, so got rid of that, took it back because it was defective, and I got a Thermarest. So we'll see how that goes. And of course, my tent that I have with me is the Rio Grande winter tent. You saw that on my video when I did winter camping. So the reason why I'm bringing that one is, if we got high wind, we got snow coming in, I don't want to be in a 3-season tent. It's not going to be that comfortable, wind whipping up underneath the ventilation ports there. So anyway, we'll try that out again. The Rio Grande is awesome. I was going to do my hammock camping, but I decided I wanted to give the Rio Grande tent a second go myself and see how it goes. So that's it for now. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Just taking a peek at the gear I'm bringing on my canoe backcountry trip. I'm really, really excited for it. We'll see what it's going to bring. I might have lots of surprises, and I will let you know how it goes. I hope you guys have a wonderful week as always. Take care.